What up guys, this is the Gaming Revolution here, and today I wanted to make a bit of a recap video about all of the Call of Duty Infinite Warfare information that we've gotten over the past 24 hours, because there's been a lot of information released. I'm sure a lot of you have probably missed out on a lot of this information and are still interested in hearing it. Now, we've gotten a lot of information regarding the campaign as well as the COD 4 Modern Warfare remaster. There's been a ton of information regarding that. We've got some slight details regarding multiplayer, and we've even gotten some possible leaked teasers regarding a Call of Duty Infinite Warfare Zombies campaign. That's right, obviously we had the Nightmare Zombies campaign. That was the first ever Zombies campaign that we've ever had within Black Ops 3, and it may be continuing with Infinite Warfare. We may be getting a similar thing as well. Now, I just want to say that the majority of this information is of course coming from Charlie Intel, and you can find a link to Charlie Intel down in this video's description. But there's just been a ton of information released, and a lot of it is very interesting. Now, one of the first ones of those is that within the multiplayer for Infinite Warfare, there will be some specific maps that will be set on different planets, and one of those specifically will in fact be set in a space station. Now, that isn't to rule out the fact that we will also be getting multiplayer maps that will be set on Earth also. Don't worry, maps will be set in space and on Earth, and that begs the question, are we going to be having anti-gravity within some of the multiplayer maps? Because if some of the maps are set in a space station, for example, will we have anti-gravity in that map, or maybe on just some segments of that map? I'm not really sure. But this next bit is huge, because Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, according to Activision, will not be available on last generation platforms, aka PS3 and Xbox 360, and this was a huge one because people, obviously Black Ops 3, at first they said it wasn't coming to last gen, and then it was announced later on, and it kind of took everyone by a shock because you know, the last gen consoles have been out for ages now, and they're still pumping out these CODs on them to earn extra money, and the ports usually end up being pretty poor. Just look at Shadows of Evil and Der Eisendrache on last gen, they just look absolutely awful. Now, within Infinite Warfare's campaign, there's also going to be a Jackal, and what this is it's a customizable fighter jet. So I think this is going to be a jet that you use throughout the campaign. You'll probably pick it up near the beginning and receive it near the beginning as you progress, and then you'll be able to keep that throughout the duration of the campaign. And this is kind of similar to Destiny, I guess, but you'll probably be able to upgrade it and do all of that jazz and stuff like that. I guess it's just another way to get around the maps, the campaign missions easier and quicker. But this next story is pretty interesting, because within Infinite Warfare, obviously, as he said, some missions are going to be set on Earth, some of them will be set in space, but apparently there's going to be this sort of flawless transition between the two, and there's going to be like no loading screen sequence between the two, so you can interchange between Earth combat and space combat, but just really easily between the two, and it'll almost do it seamlessly, and there's going to be no waiting. I find this pretty interesting indeed, as there's such a contrast between space combat and combat on Earth, and you're just going to be able to seemingly change between the two and flicker between the two. Now, within Black Ops 3, we had the feature called the Safe House. It would be sort of the central hub where you would go after completing each mission. It's where you could customize your character and customize your weaponry and stuff like that. And it had different like stations you could go to spend different points on different things. There was also this little training zone where there's going to be something similar within Infinite Warfare, because the campaign's going to feature this warship, and this warship's going to be called the Retribution, and it's going to serve as the player's home, as he said, just like the Safe House. This will be the area you go after completing each mission. It'll be the sort of main central hub area, and this is probably going to be one of those ways in which you can transition easily between Earth and space, I would assume. Now, this next story is the one which I would discuss at the beginning very briefly, because PlayStation did in fact do an interview with some of the Infinite Warfare devs, and they talked to them mainly about the campaign. But there was a little slip of a tongue here, and I'm going to let you guys enjoy this clip now, because he mentions a zombies campaign very briefly. Now, I don't know whether this was a slip of a tongue or he in fact leaked some information unintentionally to us. We really don't know for sure at this point. However, if we remember back to Black Ops 3, I think around, I would say late summertime, there was in fact a trailer that was re-uploaded to PlayStation's YouTube channel, and I think it was uploaded slightly earlier than when it was uploaded on the Call of Duty channel as well. And within the description of that video, it mentioned a zombies campaign. It talked about how it was going to be this all new storyline mode, and it would feature, you know, a zombies campaign. And immediately people started making videos about it, thinking that a zombies campaign was coming to Black Ops 3. But a lot of people were saying that was just silly, it was just completely stupid. And as soon as they made that mistake on the PlayStation description, they immediately edited it so it didn't say that. Now, everyone came up with these speculations about this zombies campaign, and that ended up coming into full fruition. And obviously, once Black Ops 3 came out, we had the Nightmares, which was the zombies campaign. So this could be a similar story here. It could just be a slight slip up, and we could in fact be seeing a zombies campaign within Infinite Warfare. If so, I would be pretty hyped for that. I know Nightmares wasn't that good, but it's just extra content really. You can't argue against extra content, even if it's bad, as long as it's not lowering production quality of the rest of the game. You can't really argue about extra content. I mean, Nightmares was very, very weird and interesting. It was very weird to anything else I've ever seen within a game before, but I'll let you guys enjoy the clip now, and then you can let me know your thoughts on it down in the comment section down below.
So I did want to talk a little bit more about campaign, actually. So maybe, Jacob, you could take this one. Here's a question from Camera W. Bonner. Will Infinite Warfare, will the campaign be single player, or will it have a co-op component to it?
It is a single-player campaign. It does not have a co-op component to it. We have the co-op zombies campaign. We have the co-op zombies campaign in Infinite Warfare, which we'll be talking about more later, but the single-player campaign itself is only for one player.
So as you can see, the developer may have in fact accidentally leaked a zombies campaign to us, but again, it is up to interpretation. It is just early days. Infinite Warfare's literally just been officially revealed, so it's too early to say whether there will be a zombies campaign within Infinite Warfare. But if it does end up coming out, I think it'll probably work similar to Nightmares. I think it'll just be like this last minute thing that they added into the game just as an extra bonus, because obviously Infinite Warfare is going to feature a brand new zombies mode, and it's going to be somewhat similar to Treyarch Zombies. I've made a whole video discussing all the information we know so far about that, including an official image that is teasing zombies within Infinite Warfare. But it begs the question, are we going to be seeing an Infinite Warfare zombies campaign? We really don't know at the moment, but that developer could have accidentally leaked it to us, or it could have just been a bit of a slip of a tongue and he just made a complete error in terms of his wording. Now, I also think some of the biggest information that has arisen recently is that Call of Duty Infinite Warfare will in fact feature a beta. Now, we presume this is just going to be a multiplayer beta, just like with Black Ops 3. I highly doubt we're going to have anything for campaign or zombies, but there's always a really slim chance, like a 0.00001% chance, but there is going to be a multiplayer beta for Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, and you can get access to that via pre-ordering it, and then you can get a redeem code similar to with Black Ops 3. Now, this is promising because they're not going to be giving us a beta if the game is bad and if we're going to hate it, because otherwise people will just cancel their pre-orders. So I'm really hopeful for Infinite Warfare, to be honest, because as I said, if it was bad they wouldn't be giving us a beta. I think people are jumping to conclusions too early. I mean, everyone was hating on Black Ops 3 last year when we got the trailer, and then we got the beta and everyone loved it. Now, I know the game has recently been going downhill with supply drops and stuff like that, but that's all Activision's doing, to be honest. It's not really Treyarch's. I mean, you can pre-order the game and get the beta, and then after you've played the beta, I think then you can determine whether the game's good or bad. And if you do in fact hate it, you can always just cancel your pre-order. That's the best way to put it, really. Now, Infinite Warfare's campaign will also feature brand new side missions, which will in fact give in-game rewards. Now, we saw this within Black Ops 2's campaign as well. Now, Black Ops 2 had a different campaign to the other Call of Duties, as in it had different endings, it had different alternative paths you could take to lead to different endings. But not only did it have different endings, it also had these side missions you could complete to get extra rewards. So that's going to be something similar within this within Infinite Warfare. It's going to give you additional features in terms of customization, in terms of your weaponry and all that kind of stuff, in terms of customizing your weaponry. So I think that's pretty interesting. Now, Infinite Warfare's campaign is said to not be a sci-fi scripted sort of experience. It's said to still feature combat similar to Earth, but it's said to be a plausible, far future combat. So they don't want to be introducing stuff like aliens and all these laser weapons and all that kind of stuff. They still want to make it relatable. Obviously, we are going to space, so it's not going to be relatable at all, since even if that were to be possible and plausible, it's still way into the future. But they still wanted to make it as relatable as they could possibly go, but obviously with going to space, there's no way you can really make it relatable, but they're trying the best they can do. They're not creating a sci-fi film. They were sort of saying they were saying the combat is as if like World War II was going to space, which doesn't really make much sense, but that's just how they put it. I know a lot of people are really angry about this space combat, but you've got to note that this is within the campaign, and multiplayer still hasn't been touched yet. We don't have that much information about it. Obviously, the multiplayer will feature maps within space, I believe, but I think it's going to be a lot more toned down than within the campaign, but we'll just have to wait and see. Infinite Warfare's campaign has also been announced that it's not going to be cooperative. It's not going to be a co-op mode which you can play with other people, unfortunately. Obviously, Black Ops 3 had a co-op campaign, which was the first one since World at War. A lot of people really like that, but then again, I felt like Black Ops 3's campaign was one of the worst ones by Treyarch, to be honest, and it felt like because they focused so much on making it cooperative, they sort of lacked on a lot of other things. It just felt a bit jolty, and the storyline and missions felt a bit generic, almost too long, and they didn't flow very nicely. Although I felt like the storyline was really interesting. I know a lot of people hated it because it was a bit confusing, but that's usually what I like in terms of a campaign. I like a storyline that's a bit confusing. That's why I like the zombie storyline so much. Now, moving on to some Modern Warfare Remastered news. Overgrown and Bug have been confirmed to be within the Modern Warfare Remaster, and obviously there's going to be 10 maps out of the 16, I believe, that are going to be within the Modern Warfare Remaster. Now, I would assume that they're going to release the rest of the maps as DLC, and I know everyone's going to be very angry about that, but again, you've got to bear in mind Activision are a business, and even though you hate it, and to be honest, I think it's scummy as well, but they're a business, and like with any business, they're trying to earn the most amount of money possible, and this is obviously one of those ways to do it, as well as it begs the question, if they're going to be releasing DLC for the Modern Warfare Remaster, it'll increase longevity, but not only will it increase longevity, it sort of opens the possibility of them possibly adding some other maps, because for example, they could have 2 of the original Modern Warfare maps returning with each DLC, as well as 2 brand new maps. And the reason I say this is because the developers of the remaster are in fact Ravensoft. They're not Infinity Ward, although Infinity Ward are sort of citing them and helping them with the project and overlooking it. However, Ravensoft are the ones working on Call of Duty Online, which is essentially a mashup of all of the Call of Duties. It's got kill streaks, guns, maps, and it's put all the best ones together into one game. It's like one big Call of Duty remake. It's a very weird and cool game. It's got a lot of robotics and stuff like that. Unfortunately, it's only available on PC and in China, although there are ways to get it in other countries. But within that game, it's mostly remade maps. However, they've added some new maps into that game, which are styled like COD 4 and like Modern Warfare 2. The maps are very similar to those maps. There's some that are more close encounter engagements. There's some that are really wide and open, like a lot of the Modern Warfare 2 maps. And I wouldn't be surprised if they added some of those maps from COD Online into the Modern Warfare remake as a DLC. And don't worry, they will not be ruining it. I've played some of those maps on COD Online. They're literally like the classic maps, if not better, and they're certainly styled like the original COD 4 and Modern Warfare 2 stylish maps. Now, the Modern Warfare Remaster is said to have all of the same weapons, kill streaks, perks, and so on and so forth from the original game. The ranking system is also said to be the same, and you will not be able to carry on your progress from your original COD 4 account, so progression will not transfer over from last gen consoles, which is a good thing. I've seen some people complaining, but this is a good thing. I mean, if you carried over your progress, what's the point of playing the remaster? because there would just be no point. I mean, you've leveled everything up already. What would be the point of playing the remaster if it's just better graphics? I mean, there wouldn't really be much point if you're keeping the same progress, but obviously if you start all over again, it'll give you a fresh experience once again. Now, Activision also stated that they're not worried about people playing the Modern Warfare remaster more than the Infinite Warfare game, and this doesn't surprise me. Again, Activision are a business, and like any business, they want to earn the most money possible, and they've added this Modern Warfare remaster as, again, another incentive to buy Infinite Warfare. And as scummy as it may seem, they don't really care which one's played more as long as they're earning money. I mean, it's as simple as that. And it's why I think they're probably going to add supply drops into Modern Warfare, which I will just hate if they do. But again, Activision are a business. We can hate it all we want, but it's not going to stop Activision from wanting money. Ravensoft have also spoke briefly about how they're working on the Modern Warfare remake, sort of talking about how they're trying to keep it very, very authentic, just like the original game. And from the comparisons that I've been seeing so far, it seems like they've really made a step up in terms of the textures and stuff like that. They've not just done a normal remaster, they've literally updated every bit of detail. They've completely changed some of the textures and stuff like that to make them just suit the map a lot better, and I really like what they're doing. Now, within the live stream that I was talking about earlier, where they mentioned the Zombies campaign, well, they gave a ton of new information regarding the campaign. So, we're going to stay within our solar system fighting against humans. There will be no aliens. Seamless experience has been a big innovation in this year's title, allowing players to transition from a zero-gravity environment to the ground mission with few to no loading screens. Infinity Ward has done a lot of work to make sure the title still feels like a Call of Duty game. That's not our primary goal, to make a believable war story. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to make a war type story. Now, they're also not announcing the year the game takes place in yet. Probably because it's really in the future and they don't want to annoy us. I mean, that's pretty much what they're saying. The campaign is single player only. It will not feature a co-op mode, as you said earlier. Not all of the missions involve zero gravity environments. There are missions on the ground in space stations, Earth, asteroids and more. Hopefully those missions will be boots on ground. He also talked about the M4 and the M16 weapons possibly returning, focusing on ballistic weaponry. So hopefully there's not all this laser weaponry, Star Wars rubbish within this game, and hopefully they keep authentic weaponry. Now, they probably won't be the same as the M4 or the M16, but they'll probably be futuristic versions, just like with Black Ops 3, they had the HD-40, which was the futuristic version of the MP40. Now, game features will feature new equipment, trophy systems are returning, and they work as a defensive mechanism for ships too. Infinite Warfare is a new sub-brand for Call of Duty, completely different story and setting from Ghost, new cast, characters and more. Now, this was interesting. Some people thinking that maybe it had links to Ghost, obviously from the cliffhanger. People thought maybe it was continuing, but no, it's completely separate. They've scrapped everything that they had done with Ghost completely. Players will also play as Lieutenant Reyes in the campaign. He becomes a captain as the game goes on. Being a leader, Reyes makes a decision that previous Call of Duty title protagonists didn't. Although there are side missions in the game, everyone will expect the same story arc for the game. Side missions won't change the storyline. And also, this is the biggest news, and they've literally just released it within the last hour, and that's why it's the last one on this list. Activision has said that they have no plans to sell Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remastered separately, and I have no idea what the hell Activision were doing announcing this publicly. As I said earlier, this is all for business and the generating money, but why would they announce this publicly? It's just going to annoy everyone. They'll probably release it as separately down the line once Infinity Warfare sales start dropping, so they will probably sell it separately to sort of boost the revenue and stuff like that. So expect it maybe within, you know, after like 6 months after it comes out, or maybe a whole year after Infinite Warfare's been out. Expect it around then, but I doubt that they will release it separately for quite a long time. I know they said they don't plan on ever doing it, but I'm sure down the line they will. But anyways, thank you for watching the video. Make sure to subscribe for new updates latest and greatest Black Ops 3 Zombies news information. So anyways, thank you for watching, and bye.